Hello, hello, hello. Come on in the room. Come on in the room, best friends. As I always say, come one, come all, come big, come small. Look, I'm taking my little chapstick and I'm getting my lips together. For those of you guys who have no idea who I am or where you found yourself, I am Candy Sincerity Johnson. Listen, I do a host of things. We do a host of things over here. But what we have become known for is our transparency. This is where we document our journey and we give commentary on other people's journey. So typically the topics that we cover center somewhere around life, love, and family. And girl, there was a situation that jumped off very, very, very close to home that Sean and I want to talk about. Let me bring my co-host Sean on and we will get the conversation started. Hold on, best friends. Let me bring her on. And we will get the conversation started. It says adding. Hello.
Hey, little curly Q.
Hi, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
Good, good, good. I can't complain. Listen, I took my hair down. I have not washed it yet. That's something I will be doing, once we're done with the video. So I wanted to give you a call. And so I said, ooh, let me give you a call. And we will
Your
go.
hair is cute like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's very what am I trying to say? It's very fish too, but it's
Is
cute.
it giving fish stick?
It's a little fish stick, girl.
Is it? Girl, it's a little scary spice. It's a little, running all over the place. It's very,
No, but that's how it's supposed to look.
really, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, best friend.
You look like you just woke up.
I did.
So
Not too
when,
long ago.
so when I had the kids call you, you were asleep.
No, I was actually up. I had gotten up by then, but my eyes, for whatever reason, are still kind of puffy. Like I don't know. Probably should have splashed some water on my face or
You
something.
okay?
Yeah,
How
I'm
long was you
good.
sleep?
Huh?
How long will you sleep?
About an hour and a half, I think.
Oh, you got you a old nasty nap, girl. You might
Because
want
my granny was like, "Can you?"
to.
Because I fed my granny, and then she went to her room, and she was like, "Can you come sit with me for about 10 minutes?" Because usually she's back in the back with me, and that's where we camp out all day. But she's not been able to stay back there like that. So I went up in her room and sat with her, and then she drifted off to sleep, and then she popped up, and she was like, "You still here?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm still here." And she was like, "Okay, you can go." So then I went back to the TV room, and girl, I laid down and went to sleep.
That's how it happens sometimes, girl.
hmm
That's how it happens.
I was like, well, might as well. Might as well. So, Diamond said, Candy, your hair looks cute like that.
Thank you, best friend. I knew I had a lot to do tonight, so I said, let me get me a little caffeine or something. You see what I'm saying? Let me refresh myself.
Girl, best friends is asking questions already. Did you want to wait for after we do our little conversation?
Oh no, if they got questions, let's talk.
So, Miss Jaretha said, Candy, are you and T still together? Girl, I don't know why. Girl, just out the gate. So
You know what, Miss Jaretha, she just left. What do the old folks say? We're talking. We talking. We talking. She just left. She sent me a text message when she was at work earlier this afternoon. She said, hey, I got some time on my schedule. Do you mind me stopping by just to see you and the kids? So I was good with that. Our schedules aligned, and so we sat and we talked. I fed the kids. We sat and we talked. We literally just sat at the table and just talked. And so we had good conversation, and it was really just centered around just where did we misunderstand each other. And so that's just where we are. And so instead of us trying to see too far into the future, when the conversation is good today, then we ask, can we continue the conversation tomorrow? So we talking. We talking. You see what I mean? We talking. And the conversation is sounding real good. Yeah. What other questions do the best friends have, girl?
oh, that was it.
They, oh, okay. Okay. But I titled the video, did you see what happened? Because we never talked about it, girl.
I know, right?
Do you want to tell the best friends what we're talking about? Because
I
it hit close to home.
I can. So, best friends, this story has been in the news for, let's see, this is 21st, about a week or two now. Because everything happened on January 21st. So you guys know I always do my due diligence so I can bring you the information in case you don't know what's going on. Because I don't know if it made like um nationwide news or if it was just local or regional. I don't know. So I'll bring you guys up to speed.
I think it
So
was national because remember at one point it was a manhunt. It was a nationwide manhunt.
got you. Um, let's see. There was a best friend that had a question for me. I see your question, love. Since we're starting to get into the commentary, Miss Allison, I'll hold on to it and then I'll answer it after we're done talking about what we're talking about. Okay. All right. So let me see. So this happened on January
Mm-hmm.
21st. There was a young man. I'm gonna say young man because he was only 23. There was a young man by the name of Romeo Nance who basically went on a unaliving spree. I'll say it like that. Yeah, be cautious about what you say. It started off with two kind of seemingly random acts of two individuals. One was fatal, one was not. And then later on, it became this really big situation. Well, two people is big anyway, but an even bigger situation when
Mm-hmm.
a family of seven was unalived. So there was a total of nine people, eight of them fatal. Okay. Come to find out as they continue to do their investigation, everything like that, the first two individuals seemed unrelated to the person who was going on the unaliving spree. The last seven people were all family members
Oh, here?
of his. The seven victims included his mother. Now I have the names of everybody, but I'm kind of being cautious because I don't know if I want to say names because whatever. But the seven victims that were related to the person who went on the unaliving spree was his mother, his aunt, his uncle, and his brother and three sisters. So these are close family members who are now all deceased. The other person who was fatal, again, seems unrelated, and it was further away from the home. And then the other person who was not fatal was a 42-year-old male, but his name was not released, probably because he's, still dealing with the situation. Then the police were looking for him, couldn't find him, and he was found the next day, but he had taken his own life in Texas. So since that has happened, now I found out when I was doing my due diligence today that now his girlfriend, who is the mother of his child, is now facing charges of obstruction of justice because when they were looking for him, and this is another part that was crazy to me, she lived in one of the homes because he unalived his family in two different homes across the street from one another. She lived in one of the homes, which made me scratch my head like, well, where were you and the child when all of this was going on? Because everybody else is unalive, but you're fine and the child is fine. So I don't know. Maybe she was off with family or something like that because she has family that lives in a neighboring town. But now she is facing charges of obstruction of justice. She's now on house arrest, and her next court date is on February 8th, and she's facing 1 to 6 years. And I personally feel like they gonna come down real, real hard on her because they don't have him to hold accountable anymore.
Um, so listen, best friend, we live in this, well, I can't say we, because Shauna moved back to the Windy City, okay? Where the wind don't have no place to land in the city, so it just spin the block, okay? I live in this itty bitty old town, right? I live in this itty bitty old town where all this happened. Now, this case made national news. And a part of me is like, well, as everything was playing out and it was all over the place and it was a trending topic, I thought, and I told Sean, maybe we should cover this because we talk about life, we talk about love, and we talk about family. This definitely includes life. and thereafter. It includes love, and then it includes family.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it was very befitting of us to bring this topic to the platform. But then I sat with it and was like, well, girl, we in this little video town. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, in this little video town, everybody knows everybody and everybody's related to everybody. So if I say something, even though there's a lot of people who are no longer here, the spillover, because everybody is related to everybody, it could get messy, right? Mm-hmm. But we got a job to do. You see what I mean? And so we can't sugarcoat things, and we can't cover things up, and we can't make it seem like it's one thing and not another, right? What was the last name of the girlfriend?
The last name of the girlfriend is Wait, let me, because I did get that in front. I have the names of everybody, but her last name it's hyphenated. It's Cleveland Singleton.
That's it.
And she is.
Stay right there. Stay right there. Singleton. Singleton. See, you're not from here. You're not from here. One of the biggest churches in town is Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. Pastor Singleton was the presiding pastor before he passed away. That's not a common last name in this town unless you somehow kin to or connected to said family.
Mm.
Now, Pastor Singleton was a pioneer in the community. I'm talking about a pioneer. And he took that church from a very, very, very small church to what it was when he passed away. So I cannot prove it definitively because I don't know. But I would venture to say in this itty bitty old town, the last names are not a coincidence.
Mm.
I'm sure there's some sort of
connection
to that family.
Wow.
But
excuse me, are you familiar with the last name of the person who what do you call it? You're in criminal justice. The person that did everything, the suspect. Will he still be considered a suspect since he's unalive?
No, I think he's guilty, girl. At this point, girl. I mean,
pretty much. So, but I just don't know what to call him. But anyway, do you know his? Okay, the suspect. Do you know his name? His last name? Assailant. Thank you. Y'all be so smart.
I love the community, huh?
Y'all so smart. Assailant. Thank you so much. Get me together, Ashley. Do you know the assailant's last name?
What was his last name again?
Nance.
I don't know none of them.
Okay. Because the family had two last names. It was Nance and Esther's, which their services is this Saturday.
Now, I will say this. Lord have mercy on either the church that's handling this or I know who the funeral home is. It's the funeral home that handles all the black families in town. The funeral home that handles Dandy services. That's who got all the bodies. Everybody. But I was having a conversation with my family when this first happened. And so at first, before there was any announcement of any arrangements, my family was like, oh my God, it would be horrible. Could you imagine being a family member and you got to go through all these services? And I said, I would never do a bunch of services. Now, I don't know, and you may know based on, what you've learned about everything that's happened. But girl, if it was something like that happened to my family, we doing one service. I emotionally would not be able to go through that over and over and over again. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
That's a lot. I mean, because even if you did multiple ones in a day or two a day or one back to that's a lot of emotional turmoil and stress over and over and over again. Now, I didn't see specifics, but it seems like they're probably doing something together because it says the memorial for the family will be on Saturday. So it sounds like that's probably what they're leaning towards.
Now, I have a question, and maybe this is too much. What happened? Did they ever release what happened?
So No, they're basically saying like the authorities are basically saying this is something that they may never know what the motive was because they can't talk to him. You know what I mean? Like he's gone.
I
So
know
we don't know
Justin that he broke in the house. Like, what happened?
that I didn't see any specifics to say. But he lived in one of the homes. So one of them he had free reign for, you know what I mean? And then the other one, if your family, like, I don't know. Now, the two random people that were not related to him, I don't know what that was about. But I did also find that he was being represented by an attorney who was handling a alleged road rage incident from last year. So it seems like he has some type of a history because the police did say he does have some form of history, but they didn't go into details. But it leads me back to thinking like when situations like this happen, a lot of the times it's not just all of a sudden. Like it seems like it's been building up or just something, like we don't know what this young man was dealing with or what his past was, but because he has some type of a history, it's like, you know.
So that road rage incident that happened about a year or so ago, weren't they saying that? What happened with that? Do you know?
That I don't know. I just know that the person that was representing him was like, this took me by surprise. Like I would have never seen this coming. Like, so.
What are the best friends saying in the comments?
Let me see. So, Ashley said she has a criminal justice degree. That's what's up. Zarita said, but if he's crazy unaliving, then the girlfriend may have been too afraid to speak or turn him into authorities. Police don't move fast enough for these demons sometimes. Could have been fear. We don't know. Another best friend said they're definitely going to make an example out of her. Beverly said, I got to call my cousin. She belongs to this church. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see.
But see, Pastor Singleton has passed away. He's not the pastor anymore. But I'm saying that's a big family. That's a big family. And I don't know. Go ahead.
Agatha said, "This is the Joliet situation that took place a few weeks ago." Yes, Miss Agatha, that's what we're talking about. Barbara said that would be a lot emotionally or physically to have to go through multiple services. Let's see. Zaria says she could have been on Somebody Gotta Live to tell the story and explain my silence later. I don't know. She might do something with it later or she may not. Maybe she'll just try to go, depending on what her situation happens. We don't know. Pinky said yes, what made him flip. That's the thing that is probably going to keep everybody wondering, like, why all of a sudden did this happen? You know what I mean? With no answers.
We keep seeing these instances play out. So a further discussion has to be had, best friends. Because there was another incident. Did you see the man that was in Tinley that did it?
Oh yeah. To the twins and their mother and yeah.
Yeah. So he got a son and he left them alone, but took out the wife and the twin daughters. His own wife and his own twin daughters. We keep seeing the same situation play over and over again. And it just seems like this wasn't a thing years ago, but it's a thing now. I'm asking you, Sean, and I'm also asking the best friends, what do you think is happening now that we didn't see happen years ago? What's the breakdown?
I don't know, but this is the thing too that we have to also keep in mind. This is not. I don't think that it's something that's happening all of a sudden. What's different is technology, social media, and all of these things that we're now being being made aware of more because of the exposure. Because mental health issues have been around forever. Hurting people have been around forever. All of these things have happened forever. But now we're in a day and age where everything is at the drop of a dime. Like you can turn on your TV, you can look in your phone, the information is everywhere. So I don't necessarily think or know if it's a situation where things are all of a sudden happening within the last few years. I don't know. Best friend Tammy says psychedelic drugs. So she's saying that drugs are playing a part.
Could be. Could be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's everybody else saying?
Let me see. Let me try to get caught back up. Ashley said people hardly ever see it coming, which is the scary part. Tyranny said from what she saw on the news, the attorney was worried about him and called the house. While calling the home, they were already unalived. Yep. Mandy said mental health issues ain't no joke. A lot of people are ashamed of having these issues and won't get help. Let's see. Tierney said he didn't mention why he was worried. Also, they had surveillance on the home. While realizing no movement, they went in and found the family. Yeah, and that's what was happening. They were already they were already surveilling the home because of the other two random acts that had happened prior to this happening, and that's how everything fell out. Let's see. Barbara said COVID has brought out a lot of mental health issues, lack of treatment, lack of insurance for treatment. Let's see. Pinky also said after the pandemic, seems like it got worse. Everything, a lot of mental health issues.
Best friend, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something because I can't say it. Okay, this is a platform and I don't own the platform, but I'm gonna show you something. I don't know sign language, so I'm gonna show you. Okay, don't look away. Don't look away. But don't type what I'm saying. But let me know if you agree or disagree. I've shared with Sean and I've shared with other family members and friends. I believe that there's been a lot of shifts that have been going on in the world after the pandemic. You've been seeing more people get sick than ever before. I'm not talking about cold and flu. I'm talking about sick. Like you were seeing people that were healthy, all of a sudden they got cancer and people are passing away. You were seeing people who were healthy, then all of a sudden such and such going to the hospital for a heart attack and you find out they're gone. You were seeing people that were healthy and then they end up like Sean's mom where they have a reasonable asthma attack. They've been dealing with asthma all their life, but all of a sudden this one almost takes them out. You see what I'm saying? We keep seeing all these instances since COVID, but I believe I don't know what the resolve is, right? I don't claim to know, but this is just my theory. I believe there was something. Watch me now. I said I was gonna show you something. I said it was gonna be something like sign language. So if you pick up what I'm putting down, say in the comments, I know just what you're talking about. Okay? I know. Just say I know just what you're talking about. After the pandemic, everybody got. You see what I'm saying? Everybody got, and then they came around and they said, well, you need another one, girl. That one was good. But every 6 months or so, you need. You see what I'm saying? What was it? I don't know. But it seems like ever since, just if you understand what I'm putting, if you pick up what I'm putting down, just say, I know just what you talking about. You see what I'm saying? You gotta say it like that in the comments. Now, let me know, best friend, do you agree or disagree? Because, there's a, how can I put this? There's a lot of information out there, right? Where they say, it's population control, or they say a bunch of different things. But it just seems like everything that was happening in the world got magnified times 10. Mental health times 10. Sickness times 10. All of these different things, right? And so it seemed like whatever was going on inside your body, it just found any area of weakness, any crevice, anything, and it just attacked it and magnified it. I don't know. Could it all be a coincidence? I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not going to lie, and this is a controversial topic. Me and Sean stood toe to toe with our family. We stood toe to toe with our family. Out of everybody on both sides of the family, we were the last, the absolute last to, you understand what I'm saying? And when we did it begrudgingly. We was kicking and screaming, and we took the kids kicking and screaming. And then when they got to saying, you got to do another one, I said, that's why I draw the line.
I was just going to say, that's why I draw the line.
That's why I draw the line. And as I look back, best friends, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. Tell me what the best friend saying in the comments.
So let's see. Melanie said, from a spiritual point of view, the word said that in the last days, the love of many will wax cold. Let's see. Shelly said population control. A lot of people saying, I know just what you're talking about. I know just what you're talking about. A lot of people saying that. Now, Agnes said, I know, but don't agree. Okay, so best friend doesn't agree. Okay. Let's see. Jerika says she's had all 5. Pinky said her job made it mandatory in the medical field or she was going to get fired. Ashley said, I didn't believe it at first, but I'm starting to wonder for real, which is why I'm not getting the new ones. Let's see. James said, yep, that's what I said too. I know just what you're talking about. Now, Trisha said, you sound crazy now. Nothing was wrong with the vaccine. Nothing was wrong with it. Now I can no longer follow you. And that's fine, Trisha. Free will.
Best
free will.
See you later. Right. Because let me tell you something. About cooking. Okay? Unless you was in the kitchen stirring the pot and putting the ingredients in it, you don't even know what the hell you was served up on your plate. You understand what I'm saying? You going off what you heard and what you was told. And that's a lot of the problem is even if you agree or you disagree, what we both don't know is what's inside of the soup, sis. We don't know that. You wasn't there when the soup was put together and the ingredients was put in the pot, and neither the hell was I. So what we have to do is agree to disagree. Because at the end of the day, you trusting what you was told just like I was trusting what I was told. But this is a platform for critical thinkers. And so sometimes we have to sit and say, what if it was all a lie? Unzip up, unlearn with the possibility to relearn. What if, what if you were fed a lie and what if I was too? Chew on those apples.
Yeah. And the thing is, just like best friend Agatha says, she disagrees. We don't ask for everybody to agree with what we say or to believe what we say. Sometimes Candy and I don't agree, and that's fine. But when you get, I think for me, it's difficult when people get to a certain point where they can't even hear a opposing opinion or an opposing thought. Now, she's gone. That's fine. Fantastic. But just like best friend Agatha disagrees, good. We're actually glad that you disagree because that's where healthy conversation comes from. And that's where different perspectives come from. And that's how you learn and that's how you grow and that's how you, all of these things. So, I'm sure best friend Agatha is not the only person that disagrees. And I hope that more people will speak up and say, I don't agree. Good. Now let's have a conversation as to why.
And see, this is the thing about a perspective. I can't tell you what to do for your body and you can't tell me what to do for mine. I don't work in the medical field. It's been years since I worked in the medical field. I worked in the medical field when I was 18 years old and I went and got a CNA certification, I said the word wrong. A CNA certification because I was in the process of going to nursing school when I went to Illinois State. So I decided, hey, you want to get that exposure, you want to work next to nurses, go ahead and become a CNA before you go to undergrad, or whatever the case may be. So I'm not in the medical field. I haven't been in the medical field since I was 18 years old. And when I was 18, I was barely in the medical field. So I can't say what I would or wouldn't do if I was working in a hospital setting or if I was constantly around people that were sick. So I'm not saying what you chose just because you chose something different than what I chose is wrong. You talking to two people who got it. You understand what I'm saying? You talking to two people who eventually got it for their kids, but we were the last to do it out of both sides of our family. Our grandmothers was kicking and screaming, begging and pleading and praying and walking the floors trying to get us to get it. But why were they so adamant about it? Is because both of those women watched the news when it come on in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night, and they were fed information. But just because you're fed information don't mean you have to sit, digest, and believe that information. There's nothing wrong, and I think that's wrong with a lot of our people. We're so busy being lazy learners. We got to stop being lazy learners and just stop taking information as given as gospel. Because there's always, let me teach y'all something, there's always a motive. If there's a message being delivered, there's always a motive behind that message. Whether it's church, whether it's politics, whether it's the news, whether it's social media, whether it's a personal brand like ours, there's always a motive behind the message. There's always a motive. And if you think it's not, you just ain't looked hard enough to find the motive. And so with all that being said, it's a way to get people to do the same thing and to get people to move along the assembly line the same kind of way. The question is, where are you moving us to, and what's the objective?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Facts. Let's see. Adam said, yeah, unaliving of the week, but I don't buy it, saying that was a possible motive, but she doesn't agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, I'm not suggesting, best friend, that this man did that and is tied to this. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there's an elephant in the room that we cannot ignore. When you look at the number of people that have experienced death of a loved one, and I'm not just talking about a car accident or something random like that. I'm talking about people who were seemingly very healthy, just getting sick and in a very short time frame passing away, right? People like, there's been so many different mental illness situations, right? We had the Antrail situation within our own community. Y'all seen that with her wife, unaliving her and that whole situation. You seen this case. We had another case that was very close to here with a similar family. We just keep seeing the same situation play out. And it's like, why are all these people snapping that didn't snap before, right? All these people, and then you get people who are connected to these folks saying, girl, I never seen no issues. I didn't know, so it begs the question, girl, what's going on here? And I don't think we wrong for saying what's going on here, girl. It could just be undiagnosed, untreated mental illness, or there could be another variable at play. So to ask questions is not saying definitively this is what I'm saying it is. However, I don't think we're wrong for saying, could there be more in the water than what we was led to believe was? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
don't. Let's see. Best friend Kim says she was the last one too, but she doesn't think that that's it. Okay. Zarita said my aunt, and now she's having many heart attacks and needs surgery tomorrow. Oh my gosh, we're gonna keep her in our prayers for sure. Let's see. Julia said that's the same thing that she did. She said she hates that she did it the first time. It was only one time. Barbara said she wouldn't have done it either. Stephanie says she feels the same way. She was one and done. Let's see. Wanda said I would not do it. Kimberly said she didn't do it. Yeah, I have a cousin who still hasn't. It's like, no thanks. Let's see. Yo, G-Pal is funny. When the lady said she was unfollowing, she said, bye-bye, boo.
Exactly. Girl, we don't care. Girl, it'll be 2 or 3. It's the I gotta announce my exit for me though. Cause girl, listen, let me tell you something. I won't beg nobody to stay. No way.
Just do the church finger and walk out, girl. You ain't got to turn over desks and flip over chairs and blow the whistle on your way out. Girl, just go head on. It's okay. And the door will still be open for you if you decide to change your mind and come back. Because we've seen people do that too. They get mad, they leave, and then for whatever reason they end up back again. It's okay. It's fine. It's like a family over here. Let's see. Belinda said, I believe the food supply is questionable. Oh, girl, don't let me start on food.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah. Listen, Belinda, I'm praying that God will deliver me from eating anything else that has feelings. Chicken, beef, steak, girl, anything. I need to stop eating everything that's got feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And that breathe.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards it too. Annette said, I'm looking at an autoimmune disease now that I didn't have before. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Annette. Um, Kim said, from a law enforcement perspective, the laws are soft on crime. He probably shouldn't have never been out of jail, but the laws allowed him to be free. Okay.
And let me say this. They said, and I don't know how true it is, but they said that whatever incident that he did, or he had some other issues, some violent issues in his criminal past, the judge that allowed him out, because I think he's out on bail, he was out on bail before he did this, that judge at some point is going to be seeking re-election. I need everybody in the comments to say, you can forget it. You can forget it. I don't know what judge downtown at the courthouse made that decision, but when it comes to re-election time, baby, we will be posting your name because you can forget it.
Let's see. Let's see. Mandy said also can you say the V word, or is that off limits too?
What? What's the V word?
You know, the other word for that.
This.
Yeah. So Mandy said also this that our children are getting, what's in them.
Exactly.
Let's see. Tyranny said, I don't put anything past our government. Sorry, pay attention to what goes on and what's put out. Okay, best friend Jacqueline says she understands, but she disagrees. She says she works in an ICU and saw many people unalive, all of them so they didn't have.
Right. And see, best friend, you said Jackie said that?
Yes.
Best friend. It was one of the best friends inside of our community that worked in an ICU unit that called me and Sean crying one day. That said, I can't take it anymore. I want y'all, I'm begging y'all to go get. It was that conversation with that best friend that was so powerful. And I heard her, and I heard all of the stuff that my family had been saying about it, and I just caved, right? And with me being the leader of our household, and at the time, Sean and I being together, and Sean being here, and us raising the kids, we were homeschooling the kids and everything. Sean was like, I still don't want to. And I looked at Sean and I said, you know, at the time we were together, I said, do you trust me? I said, I'm going to pray about it. Do you trust me? She said, I do. I trust you with my life. I said, well, this is what we got to do. This is what we got to do. And part of it was best friend, what the conversation that I had with the best friend. But another part of it was me feeling like at this point, if we the only four left to tell the story out of both sides of our family, is there any quality of life anyway? I don't know. Right? If we lose everybody else that we love, what are we doing here? I don't know.
It was not an easy decision. Like, we debated that, and it was not easy at all. Let's see. Agatha, best friend Agatha said, I don't think they had any idea about unresolved side effects, but I don't think anything was intentional. I love a good, respectful debate. We do too.
You don't think anything was intentional? Oh, with the people?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Who was that Bill Gates that was really involved with that process?
Huh?
Wasn't that Bill Gates that was really involved with that process?
Yeah, it was a lot of conspiracy theories and things like that floating around that time. Debbie said, so what were your thoughts about any previous, you had during childhood? Did you think they weren't necessary as well? So honestly, growing up, I mean, I was a child that I just knew that I had to have it for what, kindergarten, third grade, sixth grade, whatever the grade levels were. High school, I just knew I had to get it. And at the time, I was a child. And those were the things that had been around since Methuselah. So we was like, well, I mean, they've been around for forever. Not to make any excuses, because there's going to come a day where this one has been around for forever. You know, if it continues on 20, 30 years from now, they're going to be like, oh, it's just one of the ones you get like for everything else. Like they just included with everything else. Mm-hmm. So not to say that, because actually that was something that Candy and I thought about when the kids were babies. When we had to start taking them to the pediatrician, we were thinking about it like, but then it was so like run of the mill and normal that we was like, okay, we did it and we're fine, and you know, whatever. So I think the newness of this one had a lot to play with it. The newness of the illness, it was just so much that everybody was just like, wait a minute, like, and then it happened so fast. It was like, okay, don't have nothing. Now we got something 2 days later. Here, everybody take it. Yeah. It's like, wait, yeah, what's going on?
And
so I think that played a lot.
I've been working on it since before it happened, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. How you was working on the solution before the problem happened.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But another thing, there was a young lady, and I'm not gonna, if she's in the comments because she watches our videos a lot. She used to work with us. You know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was a young lady, and she could tell her own story. I'm just going to tell it, but I'm not going to say her name. This young lady that used to work with us had a son, or has a son. I'm sorry. She has a son. And her son was born healthy, perfectly fine, hitting all the pediatric milestones, no issue. Get to a series where he had to get for something. One of the routine ones that we're talking about for kids, right? And then almost immediately, she tells the story about he started exhibiting different behaviors. Then, months later, was diagnosed with autism, right? So she's adamant. She's adamant about not doing that. We heard, Sean and I heard her story about her son and how the statistics far outweigh this as it relates to autism and stuff with Black boys than anybody else. Mm-hmm. And we kept trying to figure out what's going on here, right? And she tied it back to that. So at the time, me, Sean, and her have this conversation, best friends. Well, Kennedy and Caleb were like 3 months old. They had daycare. The daycare steadily asking for more and more records. You know, we got to keep up with this, that, and third. So we was getting to the point where, fast forward, we needed to make a decision. Mm-hmm. Sean and I was on the fence.
Yeah.
We were on the fence. Because you don't know what you don't know, but you got to make a decision. And whatever decision that you make as a parent, not only do you have to live with the results, your children have to live with the result of your choices as a parent. That's hard to sit in. Same thing with this modern day situation. What we decide, or what we decided last year, or whenever that was that we did that, what if that causes infertility or something in the future?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? You see, you make the decision based on what you know when you know it.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody got to live with the results.
Mm-hmm. And that's decisions like this. That's decisions, period. Like anytime you make a decision in your life, not only do you have to live with it, but there's a trailing effect that affects others. It's like a ripple. Like it doesn't just stay secluded to yourself. So,
there's another, and I know you're gonna get to the comments. There's another topic that Sean and I, and we've kind of sprinkled it in on the platform. You know, religion is another. Religion is another one of them topics where our views are non-traditional when it comes to that. You can't always just believe what somebody spoon feeds you and then people get emotional when you start having these sort of conversations because all they can stick to is, well, that's what my mom and my grandmama and them taught me. But why? When people say something to you and you constantly ask, well, why? 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 If you can't defend your lie without the emotion, you're not clear on your views. You're not steady on your stance. You're just regurgitating and going with and emotionally tied to something that was passed down to you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I question now that I'd be like, and even our kids question, like, I don't know if that really makes any sense. Like me and Caleb still have dinosaur debates. I'd be like,
I told you how I feel about
that don't make no sense to me. Like I don't understand it, but I'm not gonna get into it right now. If anybody want to talk about it, we can talk about it offline. But there's things about about religion that I question. There's things about the whole dinosaur thing that I question. There's a ton of things that I'd be looking at like, I don't know if my logical brain is just not trying. Like I just don't even, it don't even compute to me.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's okay to do that. Like sometimes, like especially when you're younger, like if I had questions about religion when I was younger, oh, I probably would have got swatted at. Like, how dare you question? Well, because it don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it not okay for me to question?
Yeah. And just because you question don't mean you don't believe in God. The two are not the same. You can believe in God and know for a fact that God exists, but not believe in the traditionalism that you were handed. Because girl, that's
my story.
Okay.
That's my story right now. There's no way that you can tell me that God is not a thing. Okay. But there are certain aspects that still just don't make no sense to me. Like I just be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's see. Annette said, scheduled to see a rheumatologist because I've had knee surgery that won't heal. That's how they found it. Only thing different has been that issue in my life. Oh wow. Okay. Let's see. Tammy said at her medical office that she worked at, you were fired if you didn't get the, for the flu or COVID. The only way you were exempt is if you could show proof that you were allergic or for religious reasons.
Mm-hmm. Girl, I would have rolled the religious reasons all the way to the door, girl.
Right. Let's see. Joy said, I was saying they're just putting stuff in the air at this point. Get someone else to do it. I'm not getting any more, keep it. I was the last in our house to get mine too. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Zaria said they cannot find a cure for cancer, diabetes, or HIV, but then they come up with medicine for something never heard of in less than no time. Plus, you need to document it each time. It made no sense.
Do you remember that time we was in California and we were out there on business, and girl, we couldn't even get into the restaurant, and I had to go all the way back to the hotel to get our card to prove that I had. And I said, "Girl, I know you lying."
Yes. I was like, I'm just trying to eat. I'm hungry. Like, what you think I'm gonna go over here and cough in everybody's face? Like, if you don't let me come in here and eat my food and leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Marcia said, she said, I have a friend that's a scientist. I consulted her and my primary doctor. I decided not to keep getting the boosters. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what they said.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That made her change her mind like that. Mm-hmm. ATP said I received the 5, due to me having sickle cell, and believe me, I'm I'm glad I did it for me, but I do understand what you're saying, Candy. Yeah, I understand. Everybody has their reasons behind it, and everybody's reasons are valid. Mm-hmm. Just like people have reasons that they didn't, and their reasons are valid. Like that's the thing. Like we have to understand that people are allowed to make the decisions for themselves, which is why groupthink is ridiculous, and we have to get out of groupthink. You have to be able to think and deduce things on your own and make your own decisions that's best for yourself and your family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Barbara said that her brother works for the government and he wouldn't take it, and her nephew too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just going through best friends. Jacqueline said, illness is a part of life. Everyone is healthy until they're not. Deidre says she thinks that the quarantine had a lot to do with it. People were forced to lose all activity and socialization. That's enough to make anybody snap. Yeah, there was a lot of people saying that when people had to be on lockdown and the seclusion and everything caused a lot of things for some people mentally. Because as humans, we're not meant to be by ourselves like that. We're not meant to be secluded, which is why in the prison system, what's it called, Candy?
What, isolation?
Yeah, but it's called something else. But anyway, that's the gist of it.
Well,
That's why they say that
home.
yeah, but I know it's called isolation, but it's like a specific term for it. Ashley will probably say it in a minute. But that's why they say that that's so damaging, especially when they put people in there for a long period of time, because you're just not meant to be by yourself in a dark place, all of that by yourself for so long. So
when you in the hole, it's the hole.
Solitary. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Naomi. Solitary confinement. That was the word that I was looking for.
Girl, you want a good definition. Solitary confinement. But
Yeah.
if you go down to the prison, girl, they gonna say throwing somebody in the hole, girl.
Right, I knew exactly. I mean, that's why I'm like, everybody knows what I'm saying, and that is what it is. But I was like, there's a word, there's a term. So yeah, but I don't know. Let's see. So I'm just best friends. I'm not ignoring your comments, but I think some of these are so old that we kind of got past that point. So I'm trying to get to the more current comments. So just bear with me. Let's see. Keisha said, I work in the field of early intervention for children. I hear many parents say that their children were thriving until they got the.
Yeah. You know, and we don't know. You know, everybody's body reacts to things different. People think I'm crazy, but I'm telling y'all, I didn't have asthma before I had kids. And I don't blame pregnancy, but I'm just saying my body is completely different, right? And I didn't have asthma as a child. I played basketball as a child and volleyball, and I never had an inhaler as a child. So all of the issues that I have those as an adult. And I'm not saying that this is tied to it, but I just use that as an example to illustrate the point. Everybody's body reacts to things different.
Yeah.
Most people don't have a pregnancy like I have. You see what I'm saying? So when I describe mine, people be like, what? So, you know, to think that certain things are triggered from that, right, is not far-fetched. It may have been the case for some people.
Right. Best friend Lori says she never had asthma until she got the COVID. She says she refuses to get any booster. She's done with it. Let's see. Okay, let me go. There we go. Barbara says she has anxiety since COVID. Yeah. So we're caught up on the comments.
Now you know what I have found though. I'm okay in social settings, like when you know, a lot of people get together, like if the family get together and stuff. But I'm also okay if I don't do that stuff. You know, because of COVID and like that whole quarantine period, I'm fine with it. Me, my girl, the kids, I'm fine in that dynamic. Like, excuse me, I don't have to do the, you know, me and the friends getting together, me and a bunch of people getting together. I don't have to do that. Sometimes I have to mentally prepare for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Corlin said a lot of domestic violence came out of being home and around their families, working from home and schooling, not being able to leave to socialize with the norm. Yeah, they did. There was a lot of stuff being said about that too, for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
You got anything else before we let's see. Christina said, Sean, can you read my comment? Let me see, Christina. Let me see if I can find it because I tried to. Yeah, you might just have to. Oh, here it is. She says, scary enough, there is an alarming increase of young adults, specifically young adults of color, who are being diagnosed with colon cancer. Doctors aren't sure why young adults are now becoming the statistic, but possibly environmental conditions.
It's probably the food we eat.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
We eat
Fact.
more food than anybody, girl. The older people still, girl, they still eat at home. Even if grandmama and auntie and all them don't cook, girl, they just fix a little grilled cheese and some, whatever, at the house. You understand what I'm saying? We don't
Mhm.
want to be in everybody's drive-through and stuff, so that's probably the increase.
Yeah. It's the processed foods. It absolutely is. Because like you said, back in the day, McDonald's was like a once a month, once a quarter. It was like a treat. Like it was like, you're getting McDonald's? Are you kidding me? Like, because we ate at home every day. It's like it wasn't no going out to eat all the time. Are you kidding me? No. You eat at home. So yeah, it's we're in a society where everything's gotta be quick, 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 fast, fast, fast. Everybody's on the move. You gotta go to work. You gotta take kids. You gotta do this. You got activities. You go. You go. You go. You know what I'm saying? And so gone are the days where you were cooking 3 square meals a day. Like my grandmother, I felt like my grandma, my dad's mom. I feel like she lived in the kitchen. I swear it seemed like that lady was always in the kitchen. When I woke up, she was in the kitchen for breakfast. Then she was cleaning the kitchen. Then she was cooking again for lunch. And then she was cleaning the kitchen. And then she was cooking for dinner. Then she was cleaning. I was like, why are you always in this kitchen? But that was the way that it was. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. Pinky said, and look how big the chicken is, girl. Girl. I saw this situation on the Netflix, girl, and I was like, that's what's really got me seriously thinking about being vegan.
Girl, with a chicken leg snap, he was so fat, girl.
Like they was just sitting there, they couldn't even move. What are we eating?
600-pound chicken.
What are we eating? And everything they're putting in these animals to make them grow faster and get fatter, and all of this is going right into us. Like, yikes! Don't get me on a high horse.
And so what happens when you eat the animal or you eat the chicken or the cow or whatever and he got cancer or he got high blood pressure
Mm-hmm.
or he's bipolar.
Right.
It
Bipolar
gotta go
chicken.
somewhere, don't it? If he got
I'm
a
saying.
chemical
So
balance and you ate him, don't they give you one? I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. So and I'm not sitting here trying to say that's what you should do because girl, I just had okay the other day I just had some perch. All right. So it ain't just the chickens and the beef either. It's the fish and the seafood too. I just had, but I'm just saying when you know better, you have to start thinking better, which is why I'm seriously contemplating it. But I have to say I feel weakness, girl, especially some good cheese. So it's like, you do have to make, even if it's not strictly just make small changes. But anyway, I could go on and on. But yeah, did you have anything else before we open it up for questions? Okay. Best friends, did anybody have any questions? This is the Q&A section, girl. Melva said, did y'all hear that study that shows Alzheimer's can be transferred from person to person like a cold? Really? No, I didn't hear that. And I'm not saying that like that's one of those things where I have to research because that don't make no sense to me because Alzheimer's is a not a mental issue. It's not a mental issue. It's involving the brain. So I don't know how that could be passed like a cold. So I don't know. So that's one of those things I would have to look into. That's one of those things where you can't just tell me that and I'd be like, oh, okay. Like I have to look into that because that don't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
Let me see. Um, let's see. Any questions, best friends? Any questions? Oh, so Allison had a question earlier after Jaretha asked you the question, asked you your question, asked, am I dating? No, I am not dating.
Mm.
Yeah. So no, I am not dating.
I'm not dating, but she's friending, right?
I'm friending. Is that what you said?
Uh-huh.
I'm open. Yeah, I'm open to friending, but I'm definitely not open to dating. I'm praying on it because I feel like I was told that it's not time for me to date. And so I'm trying to make sure that I'm moving intentionally and I'm being obedient. And so no, I'm not dating. Let's see. Linda said thank you. She said it's a shrinkage of the brain. As far as Alzheimer's, it's definitely related to the brain because that's one of the things that I have to stay kind of versed on because of me being a home care aide for my grandmother. Like we have to constantly get training when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Linda said, I'm friending in the spring. Go on, Linda. Girl, you better go ahead and friend in the spring. Yes.
Love it.
Let's see. Loretta said, Candy, you took your hair down in less than 15 hours. Congratulations. She said, I watched a cardiologist on Facebook last night speaking about the young athletics that have succumbed to the injection. Actually, Candy took her hair down in like an hour?
An hour and a half or so, girl.
It was fast.
I was
because I kept peeking in. I have to be honest, because I've been trying to be real honest and transparent with my life. I've been delivered. I kept peeking in on Candy's live because I was going to join her live, but every time I came in the room, she was having discussion that I didn't need to be privy to, and so I would tip in, and then I'd be like, oh okay, and then I would do the church finger out, and then but it was like every time I peeked in, she was like, I was like, dang, she is moving fast.
I was moving, girl.
I said, girl, but yeah, because I think your live was like an hour and a half or something like that. But then the kids came, but I was like, dang, she took it out fast. But remember, I told you I didn't think it was going to take as long as the best friends were saying because they weren't braids. They were just twists. Twists are easier to take out than braids. So
yeah, you cut, and then you unravel. And pull that root. You cut.
So I know you was glad that it didn't take long because you was dreading that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Beverly said, are you still considering moving to Texas? Which one of us are you talking to, Beverly? Well, I guess it don't matter. I guess we can both answer. I am considering it.
Yeah, strongly considering.
I am I'm like, yeah. I am considering.
Especially, and maybe this is a question that I'll pose as a reel for tomorrow. I'm sitting with the fact that my asthma is not getting better. The winters are getting harder and harder. And I feel like it's getting to the point where I need to make a decision. My grandmother often says little things like, the kids are what's keeping me here, And I've lived a lot of my life considering other people and how those decisions will impact other people. But now I think I got to start making decisions and they're not going to be popular. And I'm wondering if it's time for me to really make the move or strongly consider making a move over the next year or two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I know that it's going to cause a big rift in my family on one side, being my mom's side. And not from everybody, but that immediate family, girl, that village, it's because my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt, they poured into my brother and I, and they made their whole lives about us, and they sometimes guilt us in making choices that are best for, like when we make choices that are best for us and don't consider them in the same regard, they make us feel bad about those choices. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that's unfair, but I'm at the point where I'm strongly considering that. Because nobody's over here with me the days where, you are, and of course T shows up, but nobody else is over here with me the days where I can't leave the house because I can't breathe. You see what I mean? Like to be in the house because it's cold outside and to have to be in the house because you can't go outside, but your kids got activities and this and that. Like nobody's experiencing these asthma attacks with me. When you can't breathe, it hit different. That's scary. Mm-hmm. Can be sometimes almost be in tears. And so how many times am I going to be able to catch it before the ambulance has to be called or before it becomes a situation like your mom's situation? Like, I have a cousin on my dad's side that died. That was in college that died from an asthma attack. Like, that's nothing to play with, And so, it's something that I've been strongly considering. Mm-hmm. What would it look like if I put the house up for sale in a year or two and just relocated with the kids? And I'm not going to lie, sometimes I think about doing it, and not saying anything to anybody but you and the other parties that have to be told that are immediately impacted, and just doing it and dealing with the consequences because I don't want to deal with all the lack of support.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Barbara said Arizona is great for asthma. Check the moisture in the cities and states. Let's see. Melanie says, Sean, I love your necklace. How can I purchase? So, Melanie, this is from our fashion brand, Sincerity Johnson. If you go to our website, sincerityjohnson.com. Now, this particular one is not currently available, but we do have some really, really nice pieces that are available on our website on the jewelry tab. So definitely go to sincerityjohnson.com. Let's see. Agatha says, sending prayers for you, Candy. It sounds serious.
Thank you, best friend.
Let's see. Corlin said the seasons are in different areas and states. The weather is changing. A few weeks ago, it was just as cold in the west and southwest as the east. Yeah, it's been interesting. Like, one best friend, I can't remember who it was in somewhere in Florida and it was only 30-something degrees, and I was like, in Florida, what is doing like that? And then Texas, the last couple of years have had some ice situations and some frost and a little bit of snow, and I'm like, what is going on? But it's still not nearly like this here. It's still not. Pinky said, how did you make out when we had that bad smoke in the air? Remember the whole fires in Canada and it was drifting down here and causing a ruckus all in here? She wants to know, how did you deal with that?
Girl, it reminded me of my childhood growing up with 3 smokers in the house, girl. It was like coming downstairs in the morning when my mama, my granny, and my grandfather was sitting at the table drinking Folgers in their cup with their morning cigarette in a newspaper, girl. But all jokes aside, outside of it reminded me of my childhood and the kitchen at the house, at Granny's house. I actually did relatively well. I can't remember, but I don't think I remember probably having my inhaler with me and maybe using it a time or two, but it wasn't bad, because if it was bad, it would have been memorable. So it wasn't horrible for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Best friend Ashley said, thoughts on this implant that Elon Musk created. I don't know nothing about it, Ashley. So unfortunately, I can't speak on it. I don't
know either. Girl, people mad about their cars. Why don't he fix them cars first?
Right. How about that? Erica says she wonders how you'll do with the heat.
So the heat don't trigger me. Now, what does trigger my sinuses is like, remember every time we would go to Vegas? As soon as I get off the plane, my sinuses get cutting the fool in Vegas. So the desert, the dryness, all of that. With sinus issues, I can deal with that. That's easy. But when you can't breathe, so my asthma is triggered by cold air and cold weather. So when it drops below, it used to be 30, but when it drops below like 45-ish, because it was roughly about 48 today, and I still needed my inhaler about 3 or 4 times. So when it's anything colder than 40 to 45, then that's what triggers everything for me. But the heat, usually I'm fine in the heat. I'm fine in the summertime. You got to remember, I'm outside in the summertime more than I'm inside because of the kids' sports. They're baseball and softball. So I'm perfectly fine in the summer.
Yeah. Erica said, did y'all see that Kevin Lee got wronged kind of like Darius? So, Erica, I saw like a little snippet earlier when I was doing my research for our topic tonight. I saw something about him, but I don't know the details of it. I'd have to go and look, but I don't know exactly what happened behind that. Do you know what happened with him?
So I believe, and again, I didn't see the whole thing. I think he gave money to a couple of people. It was like a business owner he gave a couple $1,000s to, and then I guess it was a couple other people that was there too that he blessed. And somebody fumbled the bag again with the money. But, our people are very good at asking for help and wanting help, but it's not about getting the help. It's what do you do when you got the help? You see what I'm saying? What do you do when you got the help? Which goes back to a lot of what we've been talking about on this platform for years. And we even demonstrated our examples of fumbling the bag. You see what I'm saying? Like, getting the money and making the money is the easy part, but it's once you have the money, what do you do with the money? how do you plant the seed in the ground and make it continue to grow? Because if you
Right.
don't keep, if you know, you're not gonna always get somebody in your restaurant or in your business that's gonna constantly be, creating the influx of cash. But when you get that influx of cash, what are you doing with it? What are you doing
Mm-hmm.
with it? And that's where
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people make a mistake. And that's why a lot of businesses don't make it.
Yeah.
It's rough, and this is money management and how to properly manage and allocate resources and stuff. That's not a skill that most people have, and most of us come from backgrounds where it wasn't a strong skill in our household, or it wasn't something that was talked about. Money wasn't talked about, so you're gonna see it's a lot of people behind the scenes that fumble the bag. They do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Erica said, yes, she kept the money and didn't give it to the others, as Kevin said. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Greed. It's the
I'll
devil of
look
greed.
into it and see if it's something for us to discuss. If there's enough, we say enough meat for us to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what else
You
you
got
got? 'Cause I know you got to get your hair washed and stuff like that.
mm I enjoyed our conversation, best friend.
Mm-hmm. Like always. Like always.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You
Yeah.
want to take us out?
No, you take us out today.
All right. Well, best friends, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and taking part in the discussion, whether you agreed or not. We definitely appreciate it. And as we always say, the absolute best is yet to come. But baby, girl, we still got work to do. Good night, best friend.
Good night.